Welcome back to Big Gold Belt Media. I'm Damien G, reviewing the Craig Before the Creek film, which is a prequel to Craig of the Creek from the Cartoon Network. And if you haven't seen the show like I did going into it, you can still get something out of this. And if you're a fan of Kids Next Door or anything that was released on the Cartoon Network over the last, let's say, 15 to 20 years, you will love this as well, in my opinion, because it fills you with a sense of nostalgia. And I know a lot of people like to look through life with nostalgia glasses, myself included, but it takes us from how Craig left his hometown to move to the town where the creek is and forming his new bonds with all of his friends. And you get a nice little picture into how he became who he became, and going from someone who was an outsider, fish out of water, to eventually becoming the guy that runs the creek. Now, here are some things I liked about this movie. I love the animation style. It is a callback, as I said, to Codename Kids Next Door and anything Cartoon Network related that we may have seen in the last 20 some odd years. So it took me back to those days of watching Genndy Tartakovsky cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory, or even watching Samurai Jack. The characters. Again, I went into this completely blind, not knowing the backstory, and I love to do that because I fell in love with all the characters, but specifically the ragtag team of JP, of Kelsey, and of Craig, and showing how their dynamic came to fruition. And I gotta say, within the first maybe like 10 minutes of this movie, if I had a little sister, I would want them to be Kelsey, because that is how I envision my little sister to be: a swashbuckling, take no prisoners, pretty much a mercenary for hire in this film. And you can correlate to, you can even connect and correlate to even JP, his beginnings of how he was before he became a fixture in the world of Craig. And let me tell you, as someone who grew up in playgrounds that were a little unsafe by societal standards, there's a lot of homage to that. You wouldn't think hanging out by a creek, which is the equivalent of going to the lunchroom at school, where you have swap meets going on, trades, cliques, just random adventures. We have pirates, we have stealing, we have adventure like Indiana Jones, going on the quest where we see our guy Craig with the staff that he fashions in order to get his sister's doll, onion doll, back, which on the surface may be boring, but the action set pieces was something I also loved about this film, because again, it was akin to putting myself back in those shoes and back in that vision set of when I was watching Codename Kids Next Door or even Samurai Jack. What I didn't enjoy as much, I will say this: I didn't really enjoy the villains of this film, and I'm just going to say they're pirates. I'm not going to go too deep into it besides that, but the pirate villains are a little bit lame, in my opinion. The reason for the main pirate, for the captain pirate, I get, but the rest of it just felt kind of flat. When you take out the action set pieces and the fish out of water, and you just have to get from point A to point B like you're on a quest, it was a little boring for me. And that's as honest as I'm going to put it. The animation was great. The voice acting was great. The story, not so much. But I did fall in love with the characters, as I said earlier. So this is a quick one because there's not really much you can say about a 90-minute movie of a Cartoon Network prequel, aside from it took us from point A to point B, and it put us in the shoes of one Craig before he came to the creek, and then thusly leading to him being almost the king of the creek, as it were. And again, this drops on January 13th of 2024, Amazon Prime Video. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my grade of B to B+. The B+ may be a little high, but for me, the action set pieces and the lovable characters of Kelsey and JP brought me in, and I loved every second of their portrayals and performances, as well as Craig himself. I felt everything he was going through, from being a fish out of water to not wanting to move to the hometown he moved from, or from the hometown he moved from to the new town. And to be quite frank, if you haven't been in his shoes or using your imagination to enjoy life as a kid, then this movie may not be for you. But if you have a reminiscence of playing with your friends. It doesn't have to be a creek. It could be on the block. It could be in the forest, climbing trees, and using your imagination like a Muppet Babies cartoon, then this could be a movie for you. I give this a B. High note B plus, but let me know down in the comments below if you agree with my assessment or if you'd like to debate me. Please rate, like, subscribe, all that good stuff here at Big Gold Belt Media and BigGoldBeltMedia.com. And I will see you for the next review.